They were Hitler's most feared soldiers, trained harder, indoctrinated deeper, and sent where the fighting was most brutal. When Allied troops saw the black uniforms, they knew exactly who they were facing. But in May 1945, when Nazi Germany collapsed, these so-called elite warriors didn't disappear in a final blaze of glory. They vanished into prison camps, courtrooms, ruined cities, and eventually into ordinary post-war life. What happened to the Waffen-SS after the war is not a simple story of punishment or justice. It's a story of survival, reinvention, and a decades-long battle over memory itself. Some were hunted and executed, others quietly rebuilt their lives, and a few spent the rest of their years trying to rewrite history. If you're interested in what really happens after an ideology collapses, stay with me. And before we go any further, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves real history. Drop a comment with your thoughts and subscribe to the channel for more deep dive documentaries like this. Now, let's get into it. In May 1945, the Waffen-SS ceased to exist as a military force. Across Europe, hundreds of thousands of its men laid down their weapons. Units that had once been praised by Nazi propaganda as elite shock troops were now prisoners, fugitives, or men trying to blend into the chaos of a destroyed continent. The Allies moved quickly. The SS, including the Waffen-SS, was dissolved by order. American, British and Soviet forces rounded up entire divisions. Many were marched into captivity, wearing the same uniforms that had made them symbols of terror just weeks earlier. The message was clear. This was not a defeated army, but a condemned organization. The legal reckoning came fast. At the Nuremberg trials, prosecutors argued that the SS was not merely complicit in Nazi crimes, but central to them. In September 1946, the International Military Tribunal declared the entire SS a criminal organization. That ruling changed everything. Membership alone could be grounds for prosecution. While exceptions were made for conscripts and those who joined late in the war, the Waffen-SS was no longer seen as just another fighting force. Its identity was permanently tied to mass murder, ideological fanaticism, and occupation terror. Some senior figures were tried and imprisoned for atrocities committed in France, Belgium, Italy, the Balkans, and the Eastern Front. But the sheer scale of the problem meant that most lower-ranking men were released within a year or two. The Allies simply could not prosecute them all. Conditions in post-war detention camps were grim. Many prisoners lived behind barbed wire in open fields, struggling with hunger, disease, and uncertainty. By 1946 and 1947, Allied authorities began releasing the majority of detainees, focusing only on those with clear evidence of war crimes. The men who walked free returned to a Germany in ruins. Cities were flattened, jobs were scarce, and the name Waffen-SS had become a mark of disgrace. Former members were excluded from pensions, public employment, and even official war graves. For many, survival meant silence. Not everyone stayed. A minority fled Europe altogether. Using forged documents and underground networks, some former Waffen-SS officers escaped to South America, Spain, the Middle East, and beyond. Argentina became one of the most common destinations, offering anonymity under a friendly regime. These escapes later fed stories of secret ratlines and hidden Nazi networks. Some were real, others were exaggerated, but they reinforced the sense that justice had been incomplete, and that many had simply slipped through history's fingers. By the early 1950s, priorities shifted. West Germany was being rebuilt as a frontline state in the Cold War. Stability mattered more than punishment. Millions of former soldiers needed to be reintegrated, and that included men who had worn SS uniforms. Political debates over pensions and veteran benefits soon followed. In 1953, Chancellor Konrad Adenauer publicly stated that Waffen-SS men had fought as soldiers like any others. That single sentence signalled a profound change. It didn't erase the criminal verdict, but it softened its practical consequences. Many former SS men quietly gained access to limited benefits, especially those who could claim conscription rather than ideological commitment. When West Germany formed its new army, the Bundeswehr, the question became unavoidable. Could former Waffen-SS soldiers serve again? Officially, yes. In reality, very few were accepted. Only a small fraction of applicants passed ideological and background checks. Those who did re-enter military service rarely spoke of their past. The prevailing culture of the 1950s was silence. Germans looked forward, not back. And the Waffen-SS faded from public discussion, but not from private memory. That silence didn't last. In the early 1950s, former Waffen-SS officers founded an organization known as HIAG. It began as a welfare group, but quickly became something else, a lobbying and propaganda machine. Its leaders claimed the Waffen-SS had been unfairly condemned and portrayed themselves as victims of victor's justice. Through books, magazines, reunions, and political connections, they pushed a powerful myth that the Waffen-SS was an apolitical, purely military force. For a time, this narrative gained traction, especially among conservative politicians and veterans groups. By the 1970s and 1980s, a new generation of Germans began asking harder questions. Journalists and historians exposed the omissions and distortions in HIAG's version of history. Investigations revealed how deeply the Waffen-SS had been embedded in Nazi crimes. Public tolerance evaporated. Political parties distanced themselves. Protests greeted SS reunions. By 1992, HIAG dissolved, its mission defeated by evidence and changing attitudes. Today, open admiration for the Waffen-SS is taboo in Germany. Its symbols are banned. Its myths are challenged in classrooms, museums and scholarship. Yet debates continue, especially in parts of Eastern Europe and in online extremist spaces where the old legends are repackaged for new audiences. The story of what happened to the Waffen-SS after 1945 is not just about former soldiers. It's about how societies deal with guilt, memory, and the temptation to rewrite the past. 8 decades later, the echoes are still with us. If you found this video valuable, share it with someone who cares about real history, not myths. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the forgotten aftermaths of war. And let me know in the comments what topic you want explored next. Thanks for watching.